Hey guys, today we're taking a look at my Roid deck. Roids are a bunch of these different machines that all have some really interesting effects. They all have a bunch of fusions. They're usually weaker monsters, but their effects kind of make up for it. And the fact that they have, again, access to very powerful fusions. There's a lot of different things you could do with a Roid deck. Personally, I'm using a fusion deck that's also backed up by Machinas, which seems to be one of the best ways to run Roids at the moment. So first off, we have 3 Expressroids. Obviously, with that 400 attack, that's kind of rough, but enabling you to recycle from the graveyard is very important and allows you to do a lot of cool stuff and fits in well with the deck. And if you don't need to get those monsters, you obviously can put them in defense mode. And you know, if you get special summoned, you're still able to access the effect, which is really nice. So Drillroid just annihilates defense position monsters, which is really cool and okay attack. Streamroid is pretty crazy. He gets a lot of attack when he's attacking and he loses a lot when he's getting attacked. So he's kind of a double-edged sword, but still a very good card. Submarineroid pretty much guarantees you some damage and also goes to defense mode, so a really great effect overall. And then we have Tin Goldfish, just a really great card in this deck, giving you access to those XYZs and getting those Roids out. Just like I said, you can special summon Expressroid to get cards back, so recycling from the graveyard and getting things back and bringing them out in the field is really easily, especially with the Machinas. Obviously, they will allow you to get the Machina cards back to your hand and have good field presence with a powerful effect as well. So this again fits in very well with the deck. And so now the magic cards that kind of make you understand how this works so well together. Power Bond is the fusion card I'm running, giving you access to super strong machine type monsters with powerful effects. And obviously the nice thing is you have a lot of recycling and you have a lot of ability to get things back to your hand and all that stuff. So with Power Bond, you're bringing out these strong monsters and you can still have good field presence on top of these fusion monsters, even if you do lose them, because you're able to get your monsters back so well and recycle from the graveyard, which is really nice. And then a Pot of Duality, Forbidden Lance, MST, Iron Call, really good card for this deck, allowing you to special summon one of your machines from the graveyard, so giving you access to XYZs or certain effects, or fusing them with Power Bond. So really good overall, really liking this card. Dark Hole, limiter removal obviously in a machine type deck, giving you access to a bunch of OTKs along with Power Bond. I just ran this deck and I won in I think my first turn, his second turn or whatever, by bringing out a fusion with Power Bond and limiter removal for like 10,000 damage or something. So obviously you could do some crazy stuff with this. And then traps, pretty much stable traps, a couple of Fiendish Chains. I'm not running like Effect Failure or anything. But otherwise not too much to say there. So for the extra deck, the fusion that you're mainly going to be using is Jumbo Drill. So basically just a 3,000 attack monster with piercing battle damage. That's why you're running these 3 cards. And with the ability to get your monsters back and add them to your hand and all that stuff, you're going to be able to get this guy out pretty easily. We also have Chimeratech, obviously, when you're running machines, can be a good choice. And if your opponent happens to be running machines too and they bring out Cyber Dragon or something like that, you have access to that, which is really nice. And then we have a Barbaroid, the ultimate battle machine. Won't come out very often, but if you can get 5 Roids, this is pretty much OTK material right here, allowing you to do crazy damage. Very strong card, negating effects, doing direct damage. It's just crazy overall. If you get this card out, you should be able to win. And then 3 Gear Gigant X is, again, one of the keys to this deck, giving you access to whatever machines you want in your deck, which is insane, given how this deck works. You'll be able to bring out the monsters you need for Power Bond, you can bring out the Machinas to get the more Machinas out, and get Tin Goldfish to bring out XYZs and do more, and it just keeps going, and it keeps recycling, and you keep filling your hand and getting back from the graveyard. So all that just works so well together, and so yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and that's why you're running 3 Gear Gigant X's, because it's so good in this deck. Otherwise, a lot of staple XYZs, not the focus in this deck, but Fairy Kings, you have a good amount of Earth monsters, Utopia, Diamond Direwolf. You're able to get a lot of 4-stars out, so Vylon in case you need it for some reason. But otherwise, a lot of the normal ones. So for the side deck, again, side decks in my videos are just recommended cards. They're not like side deck, for a match or something like that. They're just, other choices for this deck that can work. If you're running a more beatdown based deck, you'll want to run Truckroid. Truckroid just basically keeps equipping your opponent's monsters and makes them very, very strong. So if you're focusing on more, not really the fusions, this can be a very helpful card. Ambulanceroid is another thing you can do, which allows you to combine with Expressroid to get more monsters, which is very nice, giving you some good special summon power. Again, Cyber Dragon, because you're running all these machines on top of Chimeratech, can be a good choice, along with a more beatdown heavy deck. It can be very powerful. Daigusto Emeral, another choice, giving you more access to recycling some of your cards from the graveyard, which can be really nice. Mega Phantom Beast, just in case, you bring out 2 7-stars. Very, very rare to bring that out, but maybe if you're running more another Machina Fortress or other 7-stars, you will want to have access to something like this, which is obviously, again, a machine. Obviously, Big Eye and the other ones as well. And then, if you're not running some of the other spells, you run like Book of Moon. Monster Reincarnation really works well in this deck, obviously, you can tell why. Unstable Evolution, really, really good with this deck because it can equip to Submarineroid and make them very strong, or Truckroid. So, it's a couple options for that one. Solidarity, again, you're running all machines, so it can be a very good card. I was actually thinking about running this, but it's tough to use nowadays. It gets destroyed very often, and if you want to use a lot of different XYZs, it becomes useless. So I'm not running it. It can be very useful, especially in a more beatdown heavy Roid deck. Machine Duplication, you can use this with a few different cards. You can use this with Expressroid right over here. So you can summon in a bunch and get a ton of stuff from the graveyard, and you can like power bond for Barbaroid, which is really cool. So there are a few things you could do with that. Not currently what I'm running, but can be helpful. Vehicroid Connection Zone is actually the Roid polymerization. It basically lets you fuse, and then your fusion kind of becomes almost invincible. So it's up to you whether you want to go for like the attack of Power Bond or the assurance of just polymerization or this card, or it's really up to you. You probably would want to run Power Bond or this card. Cyber Summon Blaster, if you're doing a lot of special summons with the machines, this could be very useful to do some nice burn damage. Supercharge, if you're running mostly Roids, or I would say all Roids, you can run this for some draw power. Chain Material, you can combine it with a Vehicroid Connection Zone, which is really insanely cheap, because then it won't be destroyed. So that's just a really crazy combo. And Spirit Barrier, finally, just can be helpful if you're running these weaker machines and you don't have a lot of backup. You can use their effects without worrying about taking damage. But yeah, that's my Roid deck. Having a lot of fun with it. It's really crazy the amount of stuff you can do with it, and a lot of the recycling and graveyard stuff you're doing. And I think the Machinas are one of the best ways you can run this deck, but there are other options. And you guys can definitely post in the comments below. Let me know what kind of Roid decks you run, what cards you use, stuff like that. If you like this video, you can subscribe or hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. You get to see all my stuff firsthand. If you want to see more decks from me, you can check the playlist in the description. It'll have a list of every single deck I've made so far. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. You can see my Twitter right there. Tweet me, talk to me if you want to duel me, anything like that. You can see my other contacts in the description as well. But that is it for me. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you later.